And we're back to the Fake Realms podcast.
Are we live?
We're live. Another day on the podcast.
Another good start. Another day. We're still here.
We have some opening recaps, which I feel like we typically have been really shitty on. Where we're like, we should go research this or follow up on this thing we brought up.
Pretty terrible. Yeah.
So hit me with what you got. What do you got on these recaps topics?
So a few episodes ago, you talked about something called Monodontia.
Oh, yeah.
Where all
the tombstone teeth
fuse into one. It's not real.
Fuck.
It's a fake disease.
Damn it. My credibility.
Just got to announce that to the people.
Oh.
And I'm just got to dunk on you live. But
this is the opening bid? Is to crush me?
Yeah, you're in my house now.
Ruin my credibility at the end, then people can forget a week later.
Yeah,
now all my stories are going to be moot.
But all right, so it's this guy who makes, it's called like medical horror. He invents fake conditions and he writes like realistic sounding.
Damn.
To your credit, it sounds real.
I got duped for sure.
Like I looked it up and I was like, holy shit! And then the subreddit was called Imaginary Horrors. And then I was like, okay,
fuck.
Did some research. He's got all kinds of stuff. He's got like people who grow more eyes out of their eyes. It's kind of cool, and the pictures look real too. He's just like a Photoshop.
Yeah, I did not believe everything on the internet.
Right
there it is.
What you saw?
Yeah. What is the? Wait, was it under calcium hype or something?
Calcium. Yeah. Look, he's got teeth growing out of hands. Just all kinds of weird stuff.
Fucking nuts. I mean, it's weird because when you see things like that, it's real enough. Because, like, you think about, they've pulled tumors out of people that have grown hair and other organs and teeth that look, there's a specific kind of tumor. So shit like that happens in people.
I was going to say, you also probably picked one of the more real-looking ones on this website. Like, there's this one where your eye hole just keeps growing until your head is just gone. I was like, okay, yeah.
If I would have seen that, I would have been like, all right,
like,
what are we doing?
This guy's whole face is missing. It's like, yeah.
It's like from a mockumentary or something of just someone who had a disease.
Yeah.
All right.
So,
well, I'm sorry, audience, for my lies that I've spewed. Which
his bio on Instagram is everything you see on the internet is real. Which is kind of hilarious.
This guy's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan already.
Yeah.
Well, tight. All right. Well, is there something else? Do I get dunked on twice?
No, that was it.
All right, dunking on me.
Let's open the show that way. We'll try to have something to open with from
do a recap would be nice to open with.
Yeah, if we have anything.
Fair enough. Which we have so many things we need to recap, so we need to go back to the list.
Yes.
Anyway, we're not starting off with. We'll start off with. All right, I was watching this interview with a coroner, like a 4-hour interview. Super interesting. And he was just talking about all these, this guy's had like 40 years on the job of being a coroner, which for people who don't know are people who come to the scene when there's the body needs to be like declared dead. And then they need to the coroner is essentially a detective of like how they died and what happened. And then they get the body out of the scene, stuff like that. But some fun things that he was talking about was when he goes into someone's house and he's trying to figure out the cause of death, the first thing he does is look in their fridge. Because their diet is typically the most telling thing about how this person died. So if you go into the fridge and there's like vegetables and fruits and lean meats and stuff, he's like, okay.
Impossible.
Yeah. So it's like, and cardiovascular disease is the number one killer. So typically it's just like you look in their fridge and they have like fried food. It's like, yeah, they probably just died of a stroke or heart attack. And he says like most cases, you just look in the fridge and you know what's going on.
Couldn't you just see a severely overweight person and kind of know? I guess you would look at the person first.
For sure, but that doesn't mean you could be overweight and still not die from a heart attack. Which I guess, I mean, right. But you could also be someone who has a high metabolism and still eat shitty and clog your arteries and then, So that's interesting. But the more fun one I found is that he said people with cats, almost always, if they find the body days after it's been gone, the cat will immediately start eating the body. And
another point for dogs.
Dude, I knew you were going to come with that. Interestingly, they'll eat the entire head Like they'll come up to a scene, he said, and the cat will have eaten an entire head.
The skull and everything.
Yes, dude. Isn't that nuts?
That's horrifying.
Dude, that's so... I mean, at the same time...
You know what your dog's going to do? He's going to lay by your body.
He said typically the dogs will not eat your body. Yeah. But, dude, what are we talking about here? Once you're dead, who gives a fuck?
I mean, it's just telling. It's telling of what your pet thought of you.
Or it's telling of how you are. If you're like, I want my pet to die of hunger instead of feed on my dead corpse.
Oh, okay. So it's like being a head donor.
Yeah, this is a gotcha moment. But it's kind of, I mean, the fact that they can eat someone's entire head like a house cat through the skull and bone.
That's honestly just impressive.
Yeah, for sure.
How do they do that? I
mean, they're built to eat meat. They have canines.
Do they just bite through skull?
Probably. There's also, I guess bones don't really deteriorate, so it's got to be as equally strong as when the person was alive. Because the body's going to decompose, but the skeleton's going to be there.
Yeah.
I don't know. But that being said, if you die, do you care if your pet eats you? How could you?
No, I don't. I don't care if my pet eats me. I care if my pet was thinking about eating me while I was alive. I
don't think that's how it works either. I think you die and they now have no food. And then they go, I gotta eat or else I'm gonna die. I don't think that the cat's actively going, oh man, when he dies, I'm gonna fucking eat him.
Dogs have the respect to not eat it.
One could argue that's a flaw.
Respect is a flaw.
In that case, not in general. Jesus Christ. You die, you have no... I guess you're stranded on an island with a bunch of people, everyone else dies. Do you just die and don't eat them?
Depends if they were cool or not.
Really? That's the factor?
Yeah.
You look at the corpse like, man, he was so cool.
Would you eat your best friend? Would you eat...
That would be tough.
That'd be tough.
He's a meaty boy, too. I'd have a lot of meat to go around.
So much meat.
You got to bleep that name already.
Yeah, honestly, last episode, I just left his name in.
I left my one friend's name in.
He's one of the characters at this point.
That's the character. Have some reoccurring characters.
Yeah.
They're totally fake. That'd be tough. I'm changing my mind on this maybe because if I look and saw my dead friend, it'd be. But we also don't know what
the starvation.
Yeah, like dying hunger feels like.
Yeah,
it's probably to the level where you're like, I don't give a fuck.
Well, hold on. You said immediately though. You said the cats just go right in.
No, they're eating when they start to get hungry.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not like you hit the floor like, whoa, and they just assault the body. No one has any footage of it. Maybe that is true. We don't know. But I would assume it's...
Do you think anyone's done a study? How quickly does your cat eat you when you die?
How do you do that? How do you study that? Other than putting video cameras up in a bunch of people's home who are about to die.
We study lots of things. I don't know.
Yeah, but not death. There's ethical concerns. But yeah, no, eating your best friend's tough. I don't even know if I'd eat an acquaintance. If I just knew somebody, it'd be really hard to eat them when they're dead. Again, talking out of the context of being extremely hungry without an R. I don't know if we could give an accurate, but now in my current state, knowing I have all this food available, I'd be like, yeah, I would never eat my friend. Would you? Yeah.
How do we answer this question?
Huh?
How do we answer this?
You get put in that situation. That's the one way to answer that question. We can speculate on how we would do it, but how else would we know for real?
Would you eat me?
No. It just, once again, sitting here thinking about that is no. Okay. Eating anyone in general now sounds insane.
Okay,
how about this?
Let's talk about generic guy you don't know. Got a lot of meat on him.
I think...
Would you eat it? No other context.
I think, if I'm thinking about this rationally, I would hit a point where it's day 17 without food, where I'm going...
You're trapped in this apartment with a dead guy.
No.
You can't leave.
Well, that's interesting. If I know that there's a potential to get rescued, I might eat them. If I know that I'm for sure gonna die. There's no point in eating this body. I'm gonna die. You know what I'm saying? If you're like, you've lost all hope. If you say, I'm trapped in here, no one's coming to get you, you're going to die in here. I don't know if I eat the person. I just fucking die.
Yeah.
As opposed to, like, if I'm on an island, there's a chance. We got here, so someone might pass through, so I might eat someone.
What would a scenario be where you know there's no chance of getting rescued?
I don't know. I mean, there's no absolutes, but there's probably a situation where, like, in a plane crash, in a remote island, typical Lost setup, you know, where, like, no one's coming here. You're the only person here. Everyone's dead. You've been here. Say you've been there for a long... Here's a good example. Say that you've been surviving on the island for a while with these people, and you run out of, like, whatever food source is on the... You've been there for a year. No one's coming to save you, and then you run out of the food source, and everyone dies. So, like, you're in your head, no one's ever coming to you.
I'd call it.
Yeah, I'd probably just be like, I'm just going to fucking die. I'm sorry. There's no chance. But if we, like, recently crashed from a plane, we're on an island, like, there's a chance that someone could come this way. We just crashed here. So I might eat somebody.
This plays into, I saw this experiment earlier this week where they put, it's a pretty brutal experiment. They put mice in a bucket of water.
Oh, God.
And it tries to tread water, and it lasts like a minute before it drowns.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if they let them drown.
Sure. I mean, probably.
They probably did.
Yeah.
But then they tried it again, and they put the mouse in, and right as it starts to drown, they pull it out and save it.
Oh.
And then they put it in again.
Oh, my God. Okay.
And then it treads for hours.
Interesting. Because it knows there's a chance.
It's pretty much exactly what you just said.
Interesting. God, that's cruel. That's
cruel
so fucking cruel.
Super interesting, though.
God, does it teach us about existentialism and our lives and what we do to fight for it? I mean, if you know that hope is a real thing. Hope has moved.
I think that was the big thing. It was the first scientific quantification of hope.
So this is an old study, you're saying?
I think it was
okay.
Old,
I was going to say, don't we know?
Yeah, we probably
there's these studies that are done like that. We're like, yeah, no shit. Like, if you know there's a chance you're going to live, why do we have to test it on something? Like, come on.
Well, yeah, for us.
We
know that.
There's enough human experience in the world and history to we know, like, hope is a changing factor in a lot of crazy situations.
It's interesting to know if that's a hardwired animal thing or if that's just us, like, in our consciousness that knows that.
It's got to be a mix, right? It's got to be.
I think that experiment shows it's some level of it is hardwired into you.
But when you say hardwired, I mean, the mouse has some level of sentience. Like, it's aware of its world. It probably doesn't have the emotional capacity of a human being, but it's also like it knows that it can survive.
I guess like low level thought versus high level thought.
You know, us building cities versus mouse knowing, like, I'm alive, I'm a mouse, I'm hungry.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's just, again, when I hear of studies like that, especially, I mean, they're all on animals, or, you know, some of the earlier psychological studies were on, like, babies. You ever heard of, like, what is it? It's like the white rabbit study, where someone just let their baby be in the study where they put a white rabbit in the middle of the floor, a stuffed rabbit, and every time the baby crawls to it, they just blare a sound to scare the shit out of the baby, essentially to condition the baby to be terrified of this stuffed toy, proving like, oh yeah, you can condition humans. But it's just these are done in like the 40s and 50s. You can find videos of these, but like
I would like to know how that person grew up.
Yeah, it's interesting. Just terrified of stuffed animals or rabbits. Yeah. It's or like not babies in the studies, but the famous, I forgot what they're called, the electricity studies, where they have someone on the other wall of you. What's the fucking name? It's not the Stanford person experiment, because that's the person thing. But they have someone on another side of a wall, and they have the participant who is on one side of the wall with a switch, and it says if you hit the switch, it will electrocute the other person on the side of the wall. And like the person doing the study or instructing it is like give them a shock. We need this for like experimental purposes. So like it starts off with a really low shock. It's like there's a guy standing up. Say you're the person in the study. There's a guy standing. It's to prove that authority has so much control over people that would typically not do something bad. Mm-hmm. And so you have the person of authority next to you. You're sitting there. And they go, oh, here's the thing. The person on the other wall is taking a test. Every time they get an answer wrong, you give them the shock. Every time, but the shock goes up in watts or voltage or whatever every time they get an answer wrong. So it gets to the point where most people will keep doing the shock to the point where the person on the other side starts screaming during shocks.
They can hear it, right?
Yes. And then it gets to a point where when they shock them at like, a crazy amount of supposed wattage, there's just no noise, indicating that like they just fucking killed this person on the other side. It's nuts. Jesus. And there's video of these too. They're pretty horrifying to watch. And it's
a crazy fucking study.
Yeah. I mean, you've also heard of the Stanford prison experiment too, right? Yeah. Yes. That's the famous one where you give people power, they abuse the shit out of it.
Immediately.
Yeah, dude.
It just goes to their head.
And it's all fake, but people got like PTSD from that because the jail guards are being so brutal to everyone. Yeah. It's nuts. Anyway, I feel like we've gone very far off the topic. So let's see what the next one is. Pet peeve, born out of work shit. All right. When you have a scheduled meeting, right? I fucking hate when people start the meeting early. Do you have this? We're like, and you'll get a notification that the meeting has now started early, and then it's a catalyst for people
talking remote where someone jumps on a call.
Yes,
and it shows you.
It'd be different if it was in person, but like say you're using Microsoft Outlook or something like that. If someone starts the meeting, it indicates everyone who's supposed to be in the meeting.
Yeah.
And there's people that will start meetings 10 minutes early when I need
10 minutes is crazy.
There's a couple times this past week to where I had to put it as a pet peeve because it was 10 minutes out. And I need these 10 minutes. Like my schedule's fucking booked. And they start it, and then I got in that meeting and people were waiting for me because dude.
So it's one thing to just hop in and sit there.
Dude, it does something to people's brains though, where people see that someone started it and everyone else feels accountable.
So you're saying others joined and they actually started having the meeting?
No. But they are all now waiting for me. So it's like, even though I'm on time, it's like this illusion that I'm late and I'm the last one.
Huh.
It's so, dude, I fucking hate it. Especially when there's like concurrent meetings and they know about these meetings.
Yeah.
And we like say we're in the same meeting and they started 5-10 minutes early. It's like I don't even get a chance to go to the bathroom or fucking anything. Yeah, and then I show up late and they're like, oh, now we can start. I'm like, ah!
That is a note. Do they say that? Now we can start?
Yeah, it's just not saying that. And maybe I'm reading the room wrong, but it seems like it's where were you? It's just, it's weird. And I don't know the reason for people doing that.
This is one, I totally agree with you, but this is one I don't think I've ever experienced.
Really?
Yeah.
So this is like a chef's kiss kind of thing.
Well, yeah.
My version.
Yeah.
It happens so much.
That would be super annoying if that I think everyone I work with is just like either on time or like 1 or 2 minutes late often because people just have stacked up meetings all the time. So
which most people at my work
10 minutes early is insane.
Dude.
The only time I've seen that is like if there's a massive company-wide meeting and the people running
like an all hands kind of thing. Yeah, that's fucking fine. But I'm talking about like a meeting that we're going to have for an hour and a half and someone does it 10 minutes earlier and now like again the small break.
How much time do they have that they can just hop on a meeting 10 minutes?
Obviously, I think that they're working in that 10 minutes, but they just don't want to have to think about jumping in the meeting or something. But like, your calendar will really bump you when it's time to go in the meeting.
Yeah.
Like,
if that's their tactic for not being late, I kind of get it. Because it's like if it were in person, you head to the conference room and just do whatever until everyone shows up.
And I'm probably just fucking... No one else is probably feeling this pain. And I'm probably the only one going, fuck! Everyone thinks I'm late when no one fucking cares. But I get the vibe every time that, like, I was the one holding up the meeting when I was literally, in the grand scheme of things, minutes early.
Enough. Just, even if you know that they don't care, actually, just the fact that it's happening is annoying.
Being the last one in a meeting is never good. It's weird, but literally, if it always seems like the room is waiting for you. Every time I hop in, it's like, all right, let's go. Which makes sense, though. And maybe it's just more of me projecting my own insecurity of like, I don't know, just feeling like...
I mean, it's good that you matter in the meeting. You like.
That'd be fucked if I join and they're like
and
balls
no one
deep in it.
Yeah,
that'd
be way worse.
Yeah, it's... I don't know. It's, once again, small pet peeve, but it's been happening increasingly more over these past weeks. I'm like, the busier we get, the more we need the time we have between meetings. I can't be having people just start fucking meetings and be like, you got to be here 10 minutes early or not even them expecting. But anyway, I feel like I'm talking fucking circles. It's just...
That's what peeves are all about, man. Just get it out.
There's no legitimate, like, solve. It's just going to happen, and it's just there for eternity.
Do you know is it one specific person who jumps on 10 minutes early?
A couple.
Okay.
Not one, but enough for me to know this is the person that does it. Yeah. So I'll say their name on the podcast at the end. Just full blast, dox them, say their address, where they work. Okay, this is a small but funny one. Bradley Cooper. There was some movie he was in recently who was...
Oh, yeah, I threw this one on there.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh.
Go ahead.
If you threw it on there, I thought...
Go.
You got accused of doing jewface.
Yeah.
Which I didn't know that was even a...
I didn't either. It's brand new.
Did they just give him like a prosthetic nose? Is that the whole thing?
Nose, it was bigger.
He already has a pretty big schnoz.
Yeah, I don't know.
But that's... I mean, come on.
It's kind of hilarious.
It's hilarious. I mean, it's one thing if you were... I mean, there's like...
This goes back to The Whale, back to Wonder, these movies where people play things that they aren't and people getting mad about it.
But this
definitely... is the next level of it.
Yes, I would say like that is... There's a spectrum of it, right? There's at the base blackface where it's like... We can't be doing that now. Like, there's enough black actors that we can't be just, like, hiring white people. It's fucking crazy and seems not good. The fat one with the whale, shut the fuck up. What are we talking about? There's the pool of obese actors that can do a phenomenal job.
Yeah.
It's insane to think that we're going to pick an obese person for the job. And now jewface thing, which is, like, one could argue that a nose enhancement, there's a lot of different ethnicities and races that have bigger-ish noses, and to argue that it's, he's doing Jewface. Or was he cast specifically as a Jewish person?
He was cast as a Jewish person.
And they just gave him bigger
I think
nose.
It's not a documentary, a biopic on a famous Jewish person.
I see. How do you feel about that?
It's weird because there's probably a lot of Jewish actors that could play the role.
Yeah.
But Bradley Cooper's one of the best.
Yeah, dude, he's such a good actor.
Also, Cillian Murphy played a Jew in Oppenheimer, and
give him a bigger nose.
No, they didn't give him big. I mean, he doesn't look Jewish at all.
No, not a bit.
Same. That no one was up in arms about that, but it raised some eyebrows. But I think most people just ignored that.
Yeah.
Maybe adding the nose is what made it problematic.
Yeah, I guess. All right, now we're flipping because now it's like they could have just left him and be like, he's a Jewish guy.
Yeah.
Maybe that is a little gratuitous to be like, let's make his nose bigger. We really changed our minds on this. I mean,
what was your point about the whale earlier? I know we've talked about this before, but what you said, there's a lot of obese actors or not?
No, there's such a small pool of phenomenal obese actors to choose.
Gotcha.
Can you think of any morbidly obese actors?
That obese. I mean, there's no one that obese.
You would have to take even an obese person and put a fat suit on them. Like, it's... Again, morbidly obese is like you're 400 plus pounds. I can't think of one actor that's that fat.
I did wonder that. What if they got an obese person and put a fat suit on him and made him morbidly obese? Would that have been better?
I mean, we're talking such small margins here. Of the people who think this is a problem, and B, the difference it's going to make. Like, which is funny though, because we come back to the Jewface thing, which is kind of more insulting to be like.
That feels closer to blackface, to be honest. Jewface?
It does. I started off being like, who gives a fuck? And now I'm like, the fact that they just made his nose bigger is kind of more fucked up. Like, as opposed to just being like, he's Jewish.
Like, do they really have to?
I don't think so. I think his nose is...
We got to see the movie. What if it was...
What is this movie we're talking about, by the way?
I don't know. I'm going to look it up.
Okay. Watch it.
All I saw was the headline. I never heard anything about
It's made by the Imaginary Horrors guy. Yelling about this nonsense. Oh.
Did Dove speak out about it?
Dude, it'd be funny if Dove just had takes on every movie that's like misprofiling people who are actors.
All right, Bradley Cooper, Jew. What comes?
The movie's just called Jew. Please tell me it's fake. Dead air people.
The Times of Israel says Bradley Cooper's nose in Leonard Bernstein's film is not anti-Semitic. Okay, so
but what's the movie?
That's the Times of.
So this is real, right? This is legitimate. It's not imaginary horrors.
There's a lot of different articles talking about it. I think it's real.
I just want the name of it. Like,
what? Hold on. Okay. Fill the time. Say something.
All right. I'll probably just move on to something else. Oh man, this is a fun one. Which, fuck, it's a friend that
the movie is called Maestro.
Okay.
An American biographical drama film that centers on the relationship between American poet. Jesus, I can't read. Composer Leonard Bernstein and his wife Felicia Montagnier.
All right, so he's a Jewish musician, composer.
Oh, it was also directed by Bradley Cooper. Does that change anything?
Ooh, does he direct stuff? I don't.
He does now.
But
he chose that nose for himself.
Bradley Cooper.
Yeah.
Well,
does that change anything?
I don't know. It's a little weird.
It's like Tarantino putting himself in Pulp Fiction to say just the worst line in the whole movie.
Yeah. What are you going to do? At the end of the
I don't know.
It is. Yeah. I mean, there's no defending it.
Do we just get stonewalled by this topic?
I don't know, man. At the end of the day, it's all entertainment. And if we're being honest, I don't know. Does this stuff hurt people? Could you imagine a scenario?
That is the ultimate question.
Yeah, and that's where I go. Is there any scenario where Bradley Cooper having a bigger nose in this movie where he's a Jew hurt people?
Yeah.
I mean, I could see. We go down a rabbit hole of why that could hurt people. I just don't know the magnitude of like those people who are going to see that and be like, see, Jews, big nose. They're already the people who are going to be like, fuck Jews. Like, you know, yeah. I don't think anyone's going to see that as like a person who doesn't care about this and go, oh, they do have big noses. You know, like, I think it's going to flip people on their opinions of
and
profiling Jews.
I mean, I don't, who is Leonard Bernstein? I've heard that name before.
Well, he's a composer. Watch him be like one of the best composers to ever live, and we have no clue.
So if he's I'm thinking of the movie Lincoln Now with Daniel Day-Lewis. I bet they did more to his face than just makeup. Like he has very specific features.
They've changed his face,
and that's a very famous person. So I think that's fine.
That's a good point.
They're also both white, I guess.
That's a good point, though. To look more like the character.
Yeah, to look like the character.
Let's settle it there. I'm more on that side of. Grant, I haven't seen the pictures. If it looks more like the real guy with the dishes that they did with the nose.
If he was just a fictional Jewish character, would that be worse?
Yeah. Because then you're just going, he probably has a giant nose. You're just guessing at that point.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. On to this next hard-hitting topic, which I think this is going to be a fun little situation for you.
Oh, for me?
I mean, I want to tell you about the situation I ended up in. It happened a while ago. I forgot about it. Remembered it, whatever, a week ago. It's fuck because it's a never mind. I won't even say anything about the backstory. I'm out playing somewhere with a friend. It's a hot day. I forgot water, and I need some water, and he has a big jug of water, and he's like, I'm like, oh dude, I'm so thirsty. Can I have some of your water? He's like, oh yeah, of course, man. Take a drink from his.
When is this?
Summer. What do you mean? Summer?
When was this? A while ago? Or like
a couple months.
Okay.
In the middle, in a hot day. Actually, the day where it was like 120 degrees out. It was extremely hot.
Okay.
And I forgot water like a fucking idiot. ask for his water, drink from his water bottle, and it just tastes. You know when someone hasn't cleaned their water bottle and you get that really. It's typically with the mouthpiece ones where you have to suck on them. Yeah. They grow tons of mold in them if you don't clean them, and you can taste it real bad only if it's really bad. So like I took a swig and it was just mold. It's like the most musky, moldy tasting shit.
Oh god.
And I took a swig and now I've entered into the situation where I don't want water anymore. Wow. But my friend's going to be really confused if I just stop. It's 120 degrees
outside.
This
is your only option to drink water?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So, a couple things. Do you tell your friend? I feel like in my situation, I felt like I couldn't.
How close are you?
Pretty close. But I didn't want to ruin he was being nice by letting me drink his water and me be like, "Oh, that tastes like shit." Felt
True.
not right.
Feels
wrong.
Feels a little, yeah.
At the same time, I feel like it's a health hazard. It tasted so bad. Like your body has a good way of telling you what not to eat or drink. And it was enough to be like, "Oh." And
you got to wonder how long he's been drinking that.
But also, does he know? He's got to.
What's the vessel of water? Is it just a jug of water?
Big metal one that has like a rubber mouthpiece thing. You have to bite.
This guy's water bottle that he uses?
Yes. All the time. Any sport we go to play.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So he does.
Dude.
He just drinks out of that.
All the time. So maybe I don't know, maybe he's like desensitized to it or something.
I feel like you got to tell him.
I might tell him. I'll see him next week.
That's even crazy.
Yeah, like 2 months after. Yeah. Be like, dude, I've been thinking about it for a while.
Yeah.
But I gotta tell you about your fucking disgusting water bottle.
Just been toiling over it for 2 months.
I mean, I'm glad that we're not playing outside sports anymore. Or that I will now always remember to bring water.
It's a good reminder. Always bring water.
Oh, man. I just remember that distinctly because you would get that. For me, leaving like just the air of those bottles, I would have if you let them just sit in a hot car for a long, long time.
Oh, and you open it and it smells horrible?
Well, it smells, or even if you wash the inside and then you go drink, like fill it up with new water and you drink from it, it has grown shit inside the nozzle and it tastes so bad.
Sure.
So, yeah. I just need to talk about it because I've been thinking about it for a while. I'm gonna. I think maybe when it gets...
Just say it's for his own safety. Like, I've been thinking about this. I can't let you keep drinking from that water bottle.
But you could not be hurting
out of love.
For sure. I really wonder if he can taste that or not. Who knows?
It's definitely a gradual step thing for him. Like, it just gradually got worse and worse.
Yeah,
he probably can't even take
it. I just got used to it. It's just so not what I'm used to.
It's like if you smell bad.
First, yeah.
You don't know.
Talk about a curse. Like, why is it that you just get acclimated to smell like that?
Just not knowing how bad you smell?
Yeah. Because I remember distinctly in middle school the first time someone was like, "You smell like shit." Not realizing like BO had now become a thing.
You have no idea.
Yeah, I'm just like, this is how it's always been. And just being the stinky kid. And then you got to wait weeks till people forget.
Were you the stinky kid?
I mean, for like a week or two. Like, everyone had their turn being the stinky kid. Because there were so many, coming to... Or, there's kids who are...
Like, oh, he got it. He got puberty.
Yeah, I mean, that's a nice way of putting it. Yeah. Where, like, some kids were just farther ahead or their parents had, like, caught it early with deodorant, kind of, like, set them up.
My dad locked that shit down early.
Oh,
He's
dude.
Like, you will not smell like shit.
I don't even remember what my parents did, but I just remember at one point being like, I know I really stink today, and eventually someone's like, "Oh, you smell like shit." I was like, "Oh, fuck," and then deodorant. Yeah. But until that moment, probably my parents had. I just didn't use it. I was like, "Why the fuck would I need to use this? I'm fine. I don't smell."
Yeah, your parents didn't catch that.
They probably did. Maybe they just did. I don't know, dude. The more I think about it, the more I'm like, why didn't anyone stop me?
You should talk to them too.
Sounds like a lot of conversations need to be had.
Got some things to say.
God, there's so much growth on this podcast.
Yeah.
All right, let's get off that. I thought it was a fun situation. Post-nut clarity as a sperm donor, which I can't say I have experienced, but that's got to be something where you're going to like a medical facility with tile floors, and you're in a random room with nothing. You imagine, like, sometimes I feel bad after nutting just at home. I'm like, oh, well,
yeah,
that was weird. But in like a place where there's people everywhere, you're just sitting there. I guess you're supposed to do it.
I feel
there.
like I would feel better.
You think so?
Because it's for a purpose. If you decided that was something you wanted to do,
yeah,
then I think there's nothing to be. There's no shame. It's like you did a good thing.
How do they not have at home sperm donations yet? Why do you?
You can just send it in.
You can do that with so many medical things. Pee, blood.
I mean, you have to refrigerate it, right? But
do you? Maybe that's the thing. Maybe there's no way to like freeze it at home so it makes its way safely to the lab.
I don't know.
But yeah, because I mean, nutting in public sounds like not a good time.
No.
Which who knows? Maybe I'll be there someday. Where
I was gonna say that's a good mindset to have. Just not wanting to nut in public. You'll go far that way.
The leaps and bounds you will take by not nutting in public are so wide. I mean, yeah, it's also funny to think that like they offer porn in these places where
I was gonna say, don't they give you magazines?
Yeah, which who the fuck's gonna do that with phones nowadays? But
true.
On the off chance that like, it's also, dude, just think about this. Put yourself in the situation where you go into this office and a nurse comes in there and goes, "Here's magazines for you." Like, there's a person looking you in the eyes and going,
"It's a lot of pressure.
You're gonna fucking nut in here, aren't you?"
Yeah.
That like it's
aren't
like
you? As if there's any doubt.
You fucking weirdo. Like. And then finishing, and then that person comes in and receives the specimen, and they know that you're just in there, just jacking off in a fucking room.
You think they just like give you a little smirk after when they come to collect it?
You're like, ew. And also, I mean, props to the people who work there, but imagine working in that place of just seeing dudes, just knowing that there's just so many nutty in this room, so many.
Yeah.
I don't know what my point is in all this, but it's just fucking, it's such a weird thing we have. We're like, you think of nature and like the act of making a child and doing this, and then we have facilities where we extract nut and just put it in people. I guess there's a lot of weird things about humans that we do, but it's funny that that's a place.
Yeah, it feels like farming. It's
also kind of fucked up that like women don't have the fun time to do that. Like, there's no, like, them jacking off and producing an egg. They have to get, like, it surgically removed.
If you wanted to donate an egg.
Yeah. There's no going having a fun time. It's like, well, here I go. And they got to go scoop an egg out of you. God, we really got it good as dudes.
Would you ever donate sperm?
Like, generally?
Yeah.
No, I don't know. It's kind of weigh on me.
Yeah.
Knowing
would
that,
you
like,
be okay knowing just your child is out there?
I don't think so. Because I
would think about it, right?
I don't want to pretend to be perfect here. I've definitely looked into it because you can make money. And if you're like I'm not going to give away my bio stats here, but like if you're taller and you're...
Give me your counts.
I can't. But if if you have good genetics, you're taller, typically you're a solid donor. Like if you're not overweight,
Do they screen for that?
Oh, yeah, dude. It's like they literally, from my understanding, it's like a picking and choosing, similar to the CRISPR thing. You're picking and choosing genetics from a sperm donor, but typically...
Who's receiving it? The person who's receiving it?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
So, like, they choose, and they get to see your full profile, everything.
Yeah, that makes sense. I would want to choose.
Yeah, you won't want some fucking person who's, like, riddled with
Someone
disease.
you would not mate with.
Yeah, dude, and then you're just taking a chance.
Yeah.
I mean, so it's a big choosing game.
Wow.
But, like, not everyone can donate sperm. It's only people who, like, have... better genetics or better.
That's what
makeups.
I'm saying. So, like, I think it totally makes sense that the people receiving would choose
for sure.
But the facility itself, you're saying, also screens for.
Yeah, I think there's a baseline of like attributes you have to have. Obviously, no genetic disease, chronic illness. They look for like you want to produce a healthy child first, but I think it goes beyond that. I think it's like you can make more money if you're like some model-like person. Like,
really?
Yeah. So it's a market, dude. It's a business on some level.
I'm so curious now.
It's pretty interesting, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That'd be a fun recap to look like to the ins and outs of sperm donors and that business and go to one, jack off in a room.
And then just never know where your
just produce
kids.
A bunch of children that you never have contact with. which I think you can also choose that too. Like you can have
how many you want to make.
No, well that, but you can choose if you want contact with the children you've produced. So like people can meet their real dad kind of situation. Isn't that crazy?
Would you do that
as the person donating?
Yeah.
Dude, I mean, we're talking about already. I wouldn't do it. I think.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know if, dude. It's so much.
Dude, that kid's gonna find you.
It sounds like a fucking like a horror movie.
Yeah.
It's gonna find you.
Right. I would want.
Well, I don't know about that. There's kids who don't. I know people who are adopted that don't.
Let's go to the other side. Imagine your dad.
Yeah.
Isn't your your biological dad was a sperm donor? Would you have a drive to find that person?
I don't. It depends how good my adopted dad is. So I personally know, which it blew my mind because in my head I go, until I got this perspective, I was in the bucket of like, oh yeah, I would want to know who like biologically I'm linked to.
Yeah.
But there's one friend in particular who has adopted parents, and he's like, no, I don't want anything to do with
really
that person. Like, and this was a situation. I'm not a sperm donor. This was like someone who gave up a baby. So like, you know, he's like, I have great parents. They raised me. They are my parents. I don't want to find out that shit.
Yeah.
Like they're in it's going to be all his perspective. It's going to be bad all around. I'm going to go to them. There's going to be guilt about them giving me up. I'm going to have, you know, not great intent towards them because I feel angst of the kid. And it's like, you know, what's going to be the outcome of that? That I just meet these people I barely know that just decide to fuck and produce me and want nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
So that changed my perspective on it.
I would want to just see what I'm going to turn into. You want to get a look at your
you're probably going to be pretty
dad.
fully developed before you actually go try to meet them.
Yeah.
The chance that like you would get to meet them when you were a kid. Well, actually, I don't know. Because if you're the person who's donating and you sign up and say, I'm down to meet my kid, you might meet them earlier. I don't know. It would be... it's hard to know those things unless you're actually it.
Right. I think even if you have great adopted parents, I think you still might have that drive. I don't know.
Could. I mean, hence why we have so many movies about that and like, you know, stories about people being like,
yeah,
I want to find my real dad.
Right.
But
like Steve Jobs did that, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, really?
He was adopted. And he's like, my parents are my parents. I love them. They're my family. But he still like went out and found his...
Sure. I mean, there's definitely a curiosity.
Yeah.
But I can see, once again, I was more on that side until I met this friend and knew he was adopted. And because I was just interested. The question where this all came about was, do you know what your ethnicity is? Because he has no idea what he is ethnic wise.
That I would want to know.
He does, yeah. But he's in the boat of he's like, no, I don't want, like, I just don't. But so yeah. Anyway, don't want to talk about this too long. Sperm banks, we'll recap next time.
You got some research
On the Patreon, we'll go to one. That was super stupid, but I've been having more and more, I guess this is more of a pet peeve, really quick, more and more instances where my autocorrects to stuff that's like not even relatively close, where sperm autocorrected to supermarket recently, or like, and then it won't autocorrect stuff when I say like, I'll type the word when and accidentally put an M, so it says wem, and it won't autocorrect that.
Wow. I'm
like, what is going on?
You know, on that vein, you ever type OMW for on my way?
Not really.
I do that if I am driving. It's quicker to say.
Good. Yeah.
My phone corrects to on my way exclamation point.
Damn.
There is no way to undo it. And it is...
aggressive.
I would never send that text screaming on my way. That's such a weird thing to say.
Yeah.
It's so annoying. I have to backspace it and specifically type.
So now
and then reject the suggestion. Yeah,
you've overall taken more
spent
time.
way more time to type less letters.
It's really, really difficult to put an exclamation point anywhere in a text and make it like not seem like it's too intense.
It's way too intense.
Which I put them all the time because I also don't want to see unenthusiastic about things.
Yeah, I kind of dropped that a while ago. Like, I'm not gonna just pretend to have.
But like some things,
excitement.
I'm like, yeah, let's do it. But if I just say yeah with the period, it feels like I'm not doing it any justice.
The period, that's fucked.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm a monster if I do that.
Yeah.
My friend back home or us in high school was a famous thing to do was just do a K space period responses to like as a joke to people that were like trying to talk about something.
Period.
K-space period. It's a pretty nice one. Hits real hard in the gut.
That hits real hard.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, that was a funny thing. Quote from Bill Burr I heard that I thought was pretty good. But the only bad part about being old is if you try to be young. Which
oh yeah, he's all about that.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. I never really thought about that, but like
he's not that old. What is he, like 55? I think.
Probably something like that. He looks young as fuck.
But he's one of the few old people who just shits on old people and supports young people, which is awesome.
Yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying. Because typically it goes the other way.
Typically it's like, oh, this new generation, they don't get it. And he's like, yeah, I was an idiot when I was young too. Like he's very much.
It's a healthy way to look at it.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
Just accept it.
I just never heard that analysis of like that's the he was saying that being old is awesome. The second the only way it becomes really bad, I mean obviously outside of like disease and all that bullshit, is when you try to be something you're not. That's what it boils down to. If you're trying to be something you're not, like you can't be that, you're gonna have a bad time, you're gonna look fucking stupid.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know how many old people you come across like trying to be young, but it's never a good look.
Well, he shits on plastic surgery too.
Oh man,
hair transplants. His bit is just like, just admit it's over. Admit you're not 20, 30
It's not
anymore.
going back.
Yeah, just admit it and move on and accept it, which I think is healthy actually.
Yeah,
accept
it's
where
weird,
you
though,
are in life.
But then the paradigm of like be young at heart. Maybe it's just like meant not physically, you know? Because like you want to still have childlike wonder.
You can be young at heart and look old.
Right.
I
That's what I'm
think,
saying.
like,
It's probably purely physical.
I would guess his view on that would be you don't need to change your physical appearance to validate that. Like
I mean that's the ideal situation, which I don't know. Anyway, this happened a while ago, but it was pretty crazy. There's someone who like diarrheaed on a plane. They had to land it because and then I was like, I'm reading the article. I'm like, what do you mean they diarrhea and they had to land a plane? And then you watch, there's pictures of just like this person exploded on a plane.
It was like they got up and started running down the aisle while shitting. That's what it looks
just
like.
All over the aisle.
Whole aisle. And apparently they took a vote. Like the passengers were like, no, we need to turn around. I think it was still a couple hours back to where they started.
Yeah. But dude, you can only imagine that smell.
Go on.
Oh my God. Just
humiliating.
Oh my, yeah, I mean, yeah, that person's life. Where do you sit? What do you do after you've shit all over the plane?
You just go back to your seat
and
put the headphones in, watch a movie.
I guess they probably go wash off, I would assume, as best they can. But their shit, the smell was bad enough.
They defined it as a biohazard.
Yeah, I was just about to say in the article they defined it as that, and I was like, oh man. I mean, it is fecal matter, and it's all over the place. But you're just in a tube with shit. Oh, God. But talk about things like, when has that ever happened?
I think I've never because it was huge news.
Yeah. The chances that's never happened since we've been flying, since like the 40s or whatever the fuck. No one's ever like, or maybe we just didn't have like ways to record it.
To record people shitting on a plane.
I mean, yeah, with phones now, we just have.
Yeah, I mean, no one caught him actually shitting, right?
I only saw the pictures of shit in the aisle.
Okay, yeah, I saw that too.
But like, I mean, someone saw it happen. It's such close quarters. Dude. You would hear and
someone
smell
had a front row seat.
Ugh, front row smell.
Yeah, well, they all did.
Dude. I mean, knock on wood. Yeah, I shouldn't even say that. I'll just jinx my entire flying experience.
I want to say
I've only had really good flight. Like I've never had a canceled flight. I've never had a delayed flight. I've
never delayed even a little bit.
No.
Wow.
Every flight I've taken, I've flown Spirit Airlines before and Frontier, and it's always been fine. So I'm like, when I see things like that, I'm like, how does it?
Unimaginable. I think
it
if
does.
You fly a lot, you'll get some benefits.
I think so. I mean, it's only a matter of time before something crazy happens.
I had a "Is there a doctor on board?" flight once.
No way.
Yeah.
What happened?
This is actually kind of hilarious. So,
yeah,
something was happening well up ahead of me.
Okay.
Someone yells out, "Is there a doctor here?" I shit you not, 20 people stood up and started running.
Whoa, wait, what?
So many doctors. Dude, to the point the last doctor is coming in, they're like, "Oh, they got it." They went back to their seats. It was crazy.
Why are there so many doctors on the
I don't
plane?
know. I don't know. And I think the person ended up being fine.
Oh,
But
well,
yeah, it was I was like, I heard them say that. I was like, this is it. It's going to happen. And just surplus of doctors. No excitement or anything. They had it handled.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Statistically, that has to be insane.
Dude,
When you're
I was shocked.
doctors are such a small portion of the world.
I know.
Then to have
Maybe there was a conference.
even to have
or something.
5 on a plane.
I know.
That's insane.
Dude, at least 10. At least 10 people. I think more. And
I like to imagine they're fighting over it
They
too.
were like, I was well behind it, and the last 2 guys were right next to me, and I think they just started talking like, "Oh, you a doctor?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm a doctor."
It's a doctor thing. There had to be a convention or something.
I was going to New Orleans.
Oh, that's not where I think doctors would go.
Yeah, there's no doctors down there.
Dude, what was it? I learned the most dangerous, you have a 1 in 30 chance of like experiencing a violent crime in somewhere in Arkansas, a town.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's good. It's rated the most violent place to be, but New Orleans is pretty close. That whole area around there,
Makes sense.
it's extremely violent. But also, I mean,
Fun time, though.
I've never been, but it's extremely impoverished too. So
Yes.
it happens. All right. Let's see. No, that's a joke I've been saying for a while, so I don't know if it holds any weight. That fart smells like cum joke.
Right.
Nah,
It's
we're
a great
done.
joke.
We're done with it. It's great. It's great. On something else.
Let's
Wrap
one
it up.
more.
All right. Last reoccurring topics, really quick. Pet peeves, you got any?
I mean, that On My Way one was pretty good. I didn't even have that one written down.
No, that's solid. What are you gonna do? I already gave mine for the fucking meeting thing.
Hold on. Should I go into the bag? Go into my bag of peeves?
All right. While you're doing that, I'll do the stuff. Moments that made you emotional or sob like a bitch.
You got one?
I don't know. I gotta think.
I was just going to say we might have to drop this one. We just don't cry.
I know. It's hard. Yeah, well, let's just skip that one for now.
All right.
I think recaps is a good one we should add, though, in the beginning.
Yeah.
But
I got a peeve.
All right.
Maybe a twofer.
oh, give it to me.
Number one is learning. Just learning anything is so hard. It's so hard, and it takes so much time and so much energy.
Well, it depends what you're learning.
Yeah.
If you're learning to play patty cake. I mean,
Yeah.
it's hilarious to think that it's even in your head. So you're equally as angry learning to play patty cake as like learning quantum physics.
Yeah.
Fuck!
It's just anytime you learn anything hard, maybe I should say hard, because patty cake's pretty easy.
Prove it.
It just... All right,
I've been trying to figure it out for years. We find out we both don't know how to play patty cake. Be pretty great.
I mean, this is coming from a scholastic standpoint.
Okay. Oh yeah, you're in school.
Taking a class.
Sure.
Just
Let's give some context.
so fucking hard. Just learning something that you don't necessarily want to learn, I guess.
That can be
Even
a big
though, like,
problem.
I did take the class and I chose it, but yeah, it can be.
It's tough, man.
It takes a lot of pain sometimes. Just in the form of frustration.
Yeah.
Just you have to not get something for so long.
Yeah.
And you almost have to fail. Maybe that's
for
what I'm
sure.
getting
You got to
at.
fail a bunch.
That's
typically.
how you learn.
Yeah.
Right? So that's the annoying part. It's like I don't want all the
and the
pain
stakes
with it.
too, right? I mean, you need to learn this thing, otherwise.
Yeah, and there's enforced deadlines. That's
right. Yeah. So that can make it. When it puts you in a pressure cooker. The more of those factors you kind of add, and it makes it that much. I guarantee, if it was like learn this at your free will, you have a year to learn it. It becomes a lot more like, all right. But when you have like forced and like, if you don't do this, you're gonna fail.
I think the pressure cooker is what does it.
But I totally get it. I mean, even if you go to try something out of your lane, like learning an instrument, where you're not doing it to be in concert, you're just trying to learn it. It's fucking frustrating.
Yeah, well,
it's
yeah,
like I
playing
just want to know how to
guitar.
do it.
Playing piano.
My God.
I've on and off tried to learn piano.
Yeah,
throughout my every couple of years, maybe I'll try again.
Extremely difficult.
So frustrating.
Yeah, I mean it's a nice lesson in perspective of like what it takes to be the people who are top of the line.
Yeah, probably good to just remind yourself.
Yeah, I mean, how often do you find yourself just listening to music and be like, this is a good song, but then it's very rare you're like, that's really hard to do on all these instruments that they're doing and the music they put together. Like it's not an easy task, especially to make something that has become so popular, it's reached your ears.
Right, yeah.
Right? Like, it's so many layers of learning. But I'm with you, man. Fortunately, I haven't had a lot of those moments as of late because I'm not, which is probably not good. That I'm like not actively learning anything.
So the flip side of the pressure cooker piece, like if you take your example you gave where I give you a year to do this thing. And that in that scenario, you might just not do it, or you might not learn anything.
For sure.
Often, just as general people you're lazy with stuff.
Yeah.
I think, or maybe it's just us, but
I think it's pretty general.
Yeah.
I think it's most people do not really learn hard on their own time for only enjoyment.
Yeah.
Unless you truly, most people learn things because they really love them, other than there being like a financial goal or an academic goal, like in your situation, like reaching a level of education.
Right.
But, talk about flip. I have no incentive right now to learn something outside of my job. So I'm like, I don't want to learn shit. I just want to fucking work out and eat and just, live and hang out for a while.
Which is a good place to be in, too.
Yeah, it comes in phases. Like before my job now, hardcore always learning stuff because I want to get out of my other career field. Yeah. So it was like extremely no pressure cooker in terms of time, but just like I need to get out of this, and it'll push you. I mean, you either don't learn, stay there, or you just stay there and suffer. I don't know.
And I think so. This class I'm taking, I actually wanted to take it. Just expanding on that more, and I wanted to learn that material, but I still have to enforce the pressure cooker on myself.
Yeah.
So it's like, I want to do this, but I know I won't do it if I'm on my own. So I'm just going to lock myself in, and then it's just painful.
Yeah.
So it's like I chose the pain.
Right, which can be, can be good and bad. In this situation, I'd say it's net positive.
Yeah, hopefully.
I would say it is, right? You come out the other end of it in a better place, as opposed to like you doing this without any direct outcome. Say you went to go force and learn this for no reason, then it would be.
Yeah, I mean it's like someone signing up for a marathon to force himself to train for it, or paying for it up front.
Yeah.
You gotta trick yourself sometimes.
Yeah, it's hard, man. But anyway.
Yeah. All right, that's my peeve of the week.
All right, I feel like I got to give you one more. Hold on. Wait, it was a twofer, right? Or did we already cover the two sides of it?
I don't remember the other.
All right, I'm just going to give you my other one. It's related to work, and we'll just end on this.
All right.
Another meeting-related fucking peeve, but specifically on video or audio call. I guess this goes for any meeting, but people interrupting, especially with the audio lag. Just let people finish their thought. Like it always sets us back. Like someone's talking about something, it's going to be 3 more seconds until they're done, and someone goes, "No, but I think that," and they're about to say the thing they're addressing. I mean, 9 times out of 10, it's that situation where someone interrupts, and because they didn't wait till the end of the sentence, they just interrupted for no reason. I have to go, "Oh no, I was going to get to that."
Yeah,
and
not
dude,
to re-enter my thought I was
God.
making.
It happens so fucking much, and I will sit there and wait till someone's like, "You done? Okay, now let's talk." That's how a conversation should work.
Right. That might be one of the original peeves. That just getting interrupted sucks, or witnessing others get interrupted.
It's the worst.
It's like, let them talk.
As I've grown, I've tried to be the person that if someone does, I'm like, hold on, like let's hear what they're talk. Like, dude, it's so emasculating to be having a conversation and someone just starts. You ever have someone just start talking over you or about something else to the group?
Yeah.
Oh my.
I mean, that's the epitome of like, you are nothing.
Yeah, dude, it's so bad. How could you do that to someone? Dude, to do that would be so mean. I've had it done to me. I was just going to
do a counterpoint to this, which I totally agree with.
Give it.
Some people just keep fucking talking though, and you got to. There's some people you just got to butt in.
Yeah,
and often those types of people don't even take it personally because they
do that. Then they
just talk and it's not even like they're okay with being interrupted.
Yeah, which these situations I'm talking about are not that.
Sure.
That I agree there. If someone's just known for literally never stopping talking and we need to get something done, it's require collaboration, we need to chop it up.
Remember one time I was at an office hour in college.
Okay.
And I needed this TA's attention because I had a very specific question. And he's just talking to this other guy about this kid is asking questions about his test score.
Okay.
And they're going back and forth, literally saying the same thing to each other over and over. He's like, yeah, but I couldn't give you those points because of this. And the kid's like, yeah, but I did this. And he's like, yeah, but I just couldn't give you the points. And 6 times or so it went back and forth, and I jutted, and I'm like, stop talking.
Please.
I'm like, I need this question answered. And they were both kind of like, okay.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, you got to have some self-awareness.
Yeah.
Right. But anyway, all right. All good?
All good.
All right. See you next week, people.
See you later.